burial sites everywhere, mass grave, people in fear, terrorized. The sight in Goma is unbearable. Over 10,000 people have been killed by the Rwandan army. Kagame has used his man, a military force that people call M23 has been used to kill over 10,000 people in Goma. People are fearful. Mass grave. Why all of this is taking place now? 2025, in this century, nobody could have expected that something like this could ever happen again. A country that says that they have gone through a genocide and they know the pain of losing loved ones. Having lost a lot of people during the genocide, Rwanda would have been the first to understand the pain and everything that accompanies such an event, such a terrifying and destructive situation as a genocide. But what we have witnessed, what we have seen, what we are experiencing in Goma is beyond thinking, is beyond imagination. I could not imagine that this would come to this point right now, but it is what it is. The Red Cross, the hospitals, the orphanages, the displaced people, wherever they were found, they were burned to death, butchered, killed, and raped. All this happened in Goma. Under the nose, under the sight of the MONUSCO, the United Nations peacekeeping mission in Goma, I wonder, and I ask myself, is this really a truly peacekeeping mission, or is it something else? The answer is pretty clear in my mind. It is something else. The United Nations have turned a blind eye one more time. They have failed the Congolese people. They have failed Goma. They have failed the world. Now we understand that the peacekeeping mission is not actually there to keep peace in Goma, but it's actually there to protect the interests of the Western world, to protect the sites where they get the minerals, and that's all they do. They watch people die. It is even speculated, it is even said that it is the MONUSCO that actually caused the people in Goma, the Congolese army, not to retaliate, even though they have retaliated to the Rwandan army, having killed also Rwandan military men. But we know, as we understand, that the MONUSCO is the one who intervened, restricting and ordering the Congolese army not to fire. All of this, why? Because of the minerals. Because of the minerals. So that they can have the phones, the laptop, the electrical vehicles, and all that feeds the Western world. Truly, if this is what you want, why not come through the doors as President Tshisekedi gave you the opportunity? It's a win-win situation. It's a business. It is tax that you'll be paying that will help the Congolese people. Why do you not want to do things the right way? Instead of this, what the EU, when I said the EU, it is true because the EU has signed an agreement with Kagame, with Rwanda, for the minerals that they do not possess. How do you explain that? It is not right that the EU will choose to support a person. I call it a person because not everybody in Rwanda is in agreement with what Kagame is doing in the DRC. France is playing a vital role. I will touch on this in another video. France is playing a deadly role. Now that many countries have rejected France as their ally, France has withdrawn its troops. Many of them are now stationed in and around Rwanda to help its military and increase its capacity and capabilities in neutralizing and subduing Goma and subduing Congo. This is the French mission now because they've always wanted this to happen because of the minerals. They know that if Rwanda lays hands on the minerals and the natural resources of Congo, they will share it with France and the Western world. I feel for what is happening in the Democratic Republic of Congo. It seems like the president has his hands tied down. Why? Because he is warned that should he ever strike a deal with Russia or China, this thing will get worse because you will have Russian and Chinese counterpart, or if you like, the US and the EU do not want Russia and China to have the kind of business that they have in the DRC. So these great superpowers, they are now meeting and they are now fighting for Congo's minerals. What a shameful situation. The people have to work like this in these conditions to produce all these minerals only to feed the West. Yes, of course, the Chinese also have access to this, but the Chinese, at least, I'm not saying that the Chinese do love the Congolese, far from it, because they are also doing bad things in the DRC, ill-treating the people that are working for them. Look at what is happening to the environment. Can you imagine what will be in the next 20 years if they carry on doing this? But look at the people. Go back to Leopold's day. He cut people's arm if they did not meet the quota to get rubber. So what King Leopold there did then, right now, the EU has Kagame doing this for them. When will this end? When will the suffering of the Congolese people end? I look and I cry in my heart and I'm saying, what is going on in this world? We're seeing this, and the United Nations, such an accomplice. The United Nations is an accomplice. It's a killer, displacing men, women, and children. They fear nothing. Look what Goma is like today. I tell you, all this that you're seeing, all that is happening, these minerals, they do not profit the local people. It's sad. It's heartbreaking. It takes away human dignity, the life of the people. What do people have in DRC? You go different places, the same thing happened in Lubumbashi, the same thing is happening in Lubumbashi and in Kolwezi and everywhere you go. Why? Because the world is what it is. Capitalism. What I'm seeing here is the EU, the US, and many other foreign countries. They want to lay hands while the indigenous people are suffering. Look at the kind of houses that they live in. Yes, you might say, what about the local government and the people there? Of course, they have the part that they play in this as well. But right now, we're talking about Kagame, we're talking about Rwanda, we're talking about what's happening in Goma. Why? Goma is paying a heavy price. Look what they are doing. This is terrifying. It's terrifying when you think about the environment, you think about the future generation, you think about all the deadly pestilences and diseases that will come, and natural catastrophe that will ensue this kind of situation. The condition that the people are working in, these young people that are really going to really places that no human can breathe in the air because it's polluted, but yet we're using the phones. Yes, we're doing all these things. Why? Look where the Congo is right now. I want you to know that the last 2 or 3 days when Rwanda invaded Goma, they killed more than 10,000 people. Mass graves. As you have seen, people have died because of this, because of the coltan, because of cobalt. All they need. It's no longer rubber, as King Leopold wanted. It's no longer rubber that he cut people's arms for. No. King Leopold did so much atrocity. Now Kagame is now King Leopold III because he's doing what he used to do. Even worse, what they're doing to the people in Congo. This is a terrible situation. And I pray, and I am asking those of you who are watching, those of you who are seeing all of this, raise your voices, say something. Do not be silent. The vehicles you are driving, these electrical vehicles, all that is now the sort of technology we have in the West. It's because of what is happening in the DRC. Raise your voices, say something to the cause of the people in Congo. I will tell you a lot more as I dedicate myself to bring you information about what's happening in around Africa and the DRC. These subject, this topic, I will develop it more. I will talk about the reasons and the agents and the people involved in this. And the more of us talk about this, the more of us can make people aware and actually do something to stop what is happening in Goma. I'll come to you again with another video. Let me know what you think. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, share this with other people, and let's make the world know what is going on in the DRC and what Kagame and his allies are actually doing. And I'll talk about France in a video to come. Many thanks.